cycle. Honorable Speaker, Part 1 of the bill provides for the preliminary matters such as the interpretation of terms used in the bill, objects and the act, the application of the act and the guiding principles and the role of the county government in the provision of the social protection bill. Honorable Speaker, the bill provides for the establishment of the National Board of Social Protection and defines its composition, functions, powers, and its sources of funds. Some of the functions of the board include advising the Cabinet Secretary on matters relating to social protection, designing and implementing social protection intervention and programs, providing social assistance and social care to vulnerable persons, coordinating social protection interventions, establishing and maintaining a social protection registry, undertaking civic education on social protection, periodically undertaking indexation of social assistance benefits in collaboration with the National Treasury, and undertaking resource mobilization for social protection interventions. Honorable Speaker, there are very many people in this country that actually require social protection, but we do not have a law that anchors social protection in this country. They are the vulnerable people, the disabled people, and many other people, Honorable Speaker, that require assistance from government that protects them from the vagaries of the kind of life that they live in. But Honorable Speaker, we do not have. For example, the elderly, Honorable Speaker, we give stipend to them every month, but we don't have a law for that as a country. There are many disbursements that come from government, but we do not have a law that, see, this is an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to ensure we have a law in this country, a law that guides social protection. Honorable Speaker, one of the key things about this law is to provide a registry. Sometimes county government gives resources to this person, national government gives resources to that person, NGO gives resources to that person, but they leave many other people. Just a few people will benefit because they know how to go about the system. But Honorable Speaker, if we have a registry of those people that require social protection in this country, Honorable Speaker, we can take better care of them. Today, Honorable Speaker, a person gets funds for this month. He's able to afford food. But in the next 3 months, there's nothing that person gets. Honorable Speaker, we need to ring-fence the people that require social protection in this country by ensuring we have a law. Honorable Speaker, one other very important aspect about this law is actually to go down to the grassroots. How do we develop a registry? We need officers to go out there and identify the people that are required that can actually be beneficiaries of the social protection funds that we give in this country. Honorable Speaker, last month we disbursed around 3.2 billion for the elderly. Yes, government disbursed 3.2 billion for the elderly, Honorable Speaker. And we were sent messages as members of parliament to ensure that this money gets there. But the criteria on how this is done, Honorable Speaker, is questionable. There's no laid down procedure on how to identify a person who should be a beneficiary of the social protection in this country, or the funds for the wazee and many other funds that go out there from the government. And even when exchequer is released, Honorable Speaker, we ask this question, under what law has this been done? There are many people out there, donors, Honorable Speaker, that want to help people that are vulnerable in this country. But because of the lack of a proper law to guide the process, they are hesitant to assist this country in that. But this law, Honorable Speaker, the Social Protection Bill, will go a long way, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that we have a criteria, we have a system, we have a law, we have regulations that ensure that we take care of the vulnerable people well in this country. Honorable Speaker, Part 3 of the bill provides for the administration of social protection benefits. It outlines the categories of persons who may be granted social protection benefits, the types of social protection benefits offered under the Act, the eligibility criteria, and the procedures for applying for the benefits. Honorable Speaker, it also provides for reviews and appeals against the decisions of the board, the rights and obligations of beneficiaries, the consequences of abusing social protection benefits, and the circumstances under which social protection benefits may be terminated or refunds made to the board. This part also provides for the review of social protection benefits, the indexation of social protection benefits, and the establishment of a social protection registry, Honorable Speaker. And these are the key elements that are currently missing, Honorable Speaker, in disbursing resources to people that we need to ring fence as people who are under the social protection obligations of Honorable Speaker. So it is important to provide, Honorable Speaker, the eligibility criteria. Sometimes you go to the village, you see an old man that is 60 years that gets benefit. Another old man of 70 doesn't get. And yet that person requires more funds than any other person. So we ask ourselves, so what was the criteria that picked this one and left this one? Sometimes you see people who have retired. They have retired, but they have resources of funds. They have a pension. They have a farm. They have everything that supports their life. But they get actually the fund for Wazee. They get money, and yet a person who does not have a pension doesn't get that fund, Honorable Speaker. This is what we tend to cure in this bill, Honorable Speaker. But then one of the most important criteria, if you look at, one of the most important things that I look at this, Honorable Speaker, is the obligation and rights. Sometimes you see an old man who is given money from the Wazee Fund, but he doesn't even have the information. For a whole year, that money is not collected. And some other crooks, Honorable Speaker, actually pick the money and use it. And this is what we want to cure through this bill. Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, Honorable Speaker, and I want to prepare the Honorable Sylvanus Osoro to second this bill. Part 4 of the bill provides for the offenses. The offenses created under this part include prohibition of obstruction, the prohibition of persons from giving false information, unlawful disclosures of information, fraud, and misappropriation of funds. Honorable Speaker, one of the things that we suffer from is misappropriation of funds. Sometimes this money is given, but a higher percentage is used for administration than the money that goes to the real vulnerable people. Honorable Speaker, there are other parts of this country that actually do not get this fund because data has not been collected. Honorable Speaker, this is a fund, this is a law that will help the people of Changamwe, every person in Changamwe who requires assistance, to get the assistance, not the bourgeoisie that are there and yet they get assistance, Honorable Speaker. So this is an important law. I want to urge this Parliament to support this law to ensure the people of Suba South, Suba North also benefit, Honorable Speaker, so that every Kenyan who is supposed to benefits, Honorable Speaker. I can see the Honorable Ben Sauda is happy with this law, Honorable Speaker, because it will help the people of Mutembei to actually also be reached, so that they say that Serikali has not reached them. Honorable Speaker, this is an important law. I want to urge everybody, including the people that come from the minority leaders' home, so that they also get social protection. So I want to urge everybody and every member that this is a law worth supporting, worth passing, and worth the name of this Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Sylvanus Osoro, the Honorable MP of Mugirango South, and Chief Whip of the National Assembly.
Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I second this particular bill, one thing that should be very clear, and really when one grows or when one is growing, they hardly tell themselves that at some point you'll get old. That in your 30s, you have to know that there is a time you'll be 40, there's a time you'll be 50. Honorable Speaker, when I was a young man, an extremely young man, although you still call me young man, when I was 20, I used to look at people.
You are a very young man.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I agree. Honorable Speaker, when I was 20, the people who are 40 used to look very old to me. I didn't know that 40 was just next door to me, Honorable Speaker. And now that I'm also there, I look at people who are 60 as very old. I know soon I'll also be there. I do not know where to classify you, Honorable Speaker, but that is the reality of life. That at some point, people will get to 60, people will get to 70, people will get to 80. And it is the responsibility of government to take care of the elderly. It is the responsibility of a responsible and well-organized and well-structured government, Honorable Speaker, to take care of the people of such a majority age, Honorable Speaker. Because when you get to the age of 70, looking at the economic status of our country and the opportunities that are therein, Honorable Speaker, If the government does not step in to take care of such people, then challenges will happen. And that is why it is important to the issues of health, the universal health coverage, the issue of social protection are very, very vital, Honorable Speaker, as far as this question of the social protection is concerned. Because looking at the jurisdictions that have grown, that have matured, that are progressive, say, for example, the United States, Honorable Speaker, where there is even provision of funds specifically, and even specifically to take care of those old people, Honorable Speaker. They have clinics. They have people that are employed to manage and do all those kind of things, Honorable Speaker, and they pay that, Honorable Speaker. I don't know why the Honorable Hassan is, I don't know why, Honorable Speaker, protect me from the Honorable. Speaker, protect
Honorable
me.
Hassan, you're out of order.
You can raise the point of information.
If the member on the floor is misleading the House, you know what to do. Go on.
The Honorable Speaker, I'll be guided by him because he really must have traveled. But what I'm saying is that in progressive countries, Honorable Speaker, in progressive jurisdictions, there are provisions for taking care of the elderly and the sick. And this is the culture that we really must develop here, because looking at the rate at which, of course, the mortality rate of this country, Honorable Speaker, the people who are perhaps in their post-50s tend not to live long because of lack of such provisions, Honorable Speaker, the social protection and such elements. So this bill comes in hand, Honorable Speaker, to create structures on who exactly is supposed to benefit, on the roles the board or the cabinet secretary, those responsible are going to, those responsible should be doing. So it really clears the way for the formation of a well-structured form or format to help in crafting and coming up with a very good structure of settling those people who are in the age of the majority. So, Honorable Speaker, with those very valid remarks, I beg to second.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I'll now propose the question at order number 9, which is at the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, be now read a second time. Honorable members, I see a lot of names on the screen. They were there when we started. I don't know if they are for this bill. If you are not for this bill, log out. Yes, Junet?
Mr. Speaker, I stand up to raise the issue of quorum, Mr. Speaker. Whether we have quorum in the House, Mr. Speaker, to discuss this bill. Where is the number? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking about? No. There is no bill that will pass in this House going forward. No way. No. Embarrassing that we are crossing other bills. Ikifika hiyo ndio wanataka kuembarrass wewe that they are calling for quorum. When we reach that number, yes, that order is when they want to call for quorum. If you look bad on you, keep quiet.
Clerk, do we have quorum? Honorable members, we have 35 members. We need 50. Sergeant, ring the bell, and the whips, do your job. Are you ringing the bell? No, it's Junet.
Ndio nikuonyeshe kwenye And at that time, we saw that the House had quorum. However, means that the members one by one walked out. And now what we are seeing is that the numbers have significantly reduced. And remember, it is a House that considers and passes laws. So the numbers present need to be a good representation of the public. And that is why that particular quorum is important to the House or inside the chambers. The quorum bell is still on. However, you will recall before that hitch, the bill that was being considered or the business that was on the floor of the House was the Social Protection Bill, a bill sponsored by the leader of the majority party, and we had seen the deputy leader of the majority party, Honorable Owen Bayer, moving that bill, and it was seconded by the majority whip, Honorable Sylvanus Osoro. The Social Protection Bill is a bill that seeks to address existing gaps in the social protection sector, to provide for a comprehensive framework for social protection, to make provision for and regulate the administration of social assistance, and also to establish the National Board for Social Protection. The Speaker is addressing the House. Allow me to hand you over.
Leadership to come to my office in the next 3-4 minutes so that we can consult Bayer, Janet, and your team. Honorable members, due to a quorum hitch, the House now stands adjourned until tomorrow, the 23rd of April 2025 at 9:30 a.m.